Alabama football is going to link this year. They're going to let all the naysayers know that just because Nick Saban has retired, the reign of dominance from the Tide is still not over. I believe in Kalen DeBoer. I've re-emphasized that several times throughout this offseason. And one of the biggest reasons why I'm high on the Crimson Tide this year is because how good this defense is going to be in 2025. I expect for Alabama to have a top 5 defense entering this season. They only lose 3 starters on this side of football. They return 8. You have the best secondary in college football. Zabien Brown goes into his sophomore season. He had an outstanding true freshman campaign. He was tied for first on the team in interceptions. He was a freshman all-SEC selection. He should have been a true freshman All-American. Can you guys tell me about a true freshman cornerback than Zabien Brown? I can't think of one. You got Domani Jackson, who goes into his second season playing for the Crimson Tide. If he builds off what he did last year, he should easily be a first or second round pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Last year, he showed that he has really good instincts. He's a fantastic athlete, and he has really good technique. Free safety, Keon Slab. He had a season-ending injury versus Tennessee, but before then, he was having a monstrous campaign for the Tide. He was a transfer from Michigan, and he was balling out. In a game against Western Kentucky, he had 2 interceptions. So if you get him for a full season with a Zabien Brown that takes an even bigger step in improvement this year, Domani Jackson, you're going to have a shutdown secondary. And I almost forgot about Bray Hubbard, who stepped in and started a few games near the tail half of last year, and he was also really good. He was tied for the team leading interceptions with 3, and he was also really good in run support. Linebacker, you have Deontae Lawson coming back, who tore his ACL during the second half of last season. But if he would have stayed healthy for the entirety of 2024, he would have been possibly an All-American. He already was a third-team All-SEC selection because he was 9th in the conference in tackles. He had 6.5 tackles for loss and an interception to go along with that. And he also was a semifinalist for the Buckets Award, which is the linebacker of the year. So going into this season, he probably is a top 3 linebacker in the SEC, a top 5 linebacker in all of college football, and he should be another Alabama first-round pick as long as he's able to stay healthy. And then you also got Justin Jefferson, who started in a few amount of games last year due to injuries. He was very productive despite being more of a rotational guy. This year, he's competing for a starting job. You get N'Keal Hill-Green, who you essentially stole away from Colorado. I know Deion Sanders was hurt when he lost him because he was a dog. He was a second-team All-Big 12 selection. He was second in tackles on Colorado, and he had 11.5 tackles for loss. Not only is he really good against the run, but he's phenomenal in pass coverage. Now, the biggest question about this Alabama defense that has been a talking point of this offseason on this side of the football has been their defensive line / pass rush. How good is Alabama's pass rush going to be this year? You lose your 2 leading sackers or your 2 leading pass rushers from last year in Jahad Campbell and Quay Robinson to the NFL draft. Who's going to end up replacing them? Is it going to be LT Overton? He's a breakout candidate of mine. He's a freak athlete. He's built like a superhuman. He's what you look for in a potential top 15, top 10 kind of pick. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Dallas Turner. May not be as explosive as what Dallas Turner was getting after the quarterback, but he's not too far off. And the pass rush was lackluster last season. And with LT Overton possibly having a breakout season, he could give you maybe 8 or more sacks this year. Also look out for defensive tackle Tim Keenan. He started in 12 out of 13 games in 2024, and he registered 7.5 tackles for loss. That's outstanding for a defensive tackle. Normally, you don't see defensive tackles in the backfield as much as what Tim Keenan was in. And they also got really good depth. They got some young guys who are probably going to have to step up and be a part of that pass rush rotation. But Kalen DeBoer does a really good job of getting the most out of his true freshman players. Overall, defensively, Alabama has not just the best defense in the SEC, but one of the 5 best defenses in all of college football entering this season. They don't really have too many weaknesses at all. I don't look at the defensive line or the pass rush as a weakness. It's just last year you didn't get a lot of production there because you mainly just had 2 guys. Kalen DeBoer now has more guys that are better suited to be in the defense and run the style of defense that he wants. And when you got the best secondary in college football, it helps out that pass rush because then it gives them more time to get after the quarterback. And there's 2 ways to produce sacks. Either you got a dominant pass rush or you got a shutdown secondary. So when you can erase everybody in pass coverage, you get a lot of coverage sacks that goes along with that. And with this defense playing at a top 5 level, as I expected to this year, it's going to be a main reason why we see Alabama bounce back year or 2 under Kalen DeBoer. Kane Womack is a pretty good defensive coordinator, and his defense could have been a lot better last year if the offense didn't tend to sputter in certain games like it tended to do against Oklahoma. Jalen Milroe struggled to complete the forward pass. And when you have incompetent play out of your quarterback and it holds back the offense, it puts your defense in a bind because they're on the field for more plays than what they should be. But with an improved offense from Ty Simpson taking over at quarterback with more efficiency on that side of the football, that also will help Alabama's defense improve as well because they won't be on the field for as many snaps. Could you imagine being a guy like Tim Keenan? You're already big as hell, so you get tired fairly quickly. You go 3 and out. You get a sip of that Gatorade on the sideline, and then 20, 30 seconds later, the offense goes 3 and out, and you're right back on the field. Of course your defense is going to get worn down. Of course it's going to hold back how good your defense could be. But overall, with the talent that Alabama has on this side of football, the amount of experience that they have at linebacker and the secondary, the potential they have on the D-line, and with what they're going to be able to do getting after the quarterback this year, this is a top 5 defense heading into the 2025 college football season.